These are the brand new Soundcore Liberty 4 Pro earbuds, and these are absolutely wild. Like, they have 7 crazy features that I've just never seen on other earbuds. Like check this out. For example, there's a display on the case that allows you to control the active noise cancellation level. It also does more, but at first you see that and you're like, why would you ever want that? Can't you just change that in the app? And after using these for the past month, I actually found myself using that a lot. Like, I was really skeptical of a feature, but when you're connected to like the little TV on the back of an airplane or your laptop or any device out there that doesn't have the app, so anything other than a phone, it's actually really convenient to have that to change the ANC level rather than just on and off, like 10 different levels you can go to. The second odd feature is even weirder than that. This one's called airplane mode, and it's not like you think. It's not like turning off Bluetooth or anything. Airplane mode measures with a barometer the air pressure around you and adjusts the active noise cancellation accordingly. Probably the weirdest feature ever. I haven't flown with these yet, so I can't say exactly how well that works, but it's something that maybe could be helpful. I think would also be interesting just to see how accurate it is and what the pressure is when you're in a plane. But yeah, it exists on here. If you're flying a lot with earbuds, that could be nice. Number 3, there's actually a decibel limiter for hearing protection in here. And I don't mean like the AirPods where they have it for transparency mode. Instead, this is actually the audio playing from your phone. So if you have a tendency to always turn the volume up and you're worried you're going to damage your ears, or more likely, if you have children that wear these earbuds a lot, you can set a decibel limiter. So I could say never get above 85 decibels. And no matter how much I turn up the volume on my phone, it'll only ever go up to 85 decibels, or really it sits below that at like 70-ish decibels, so you aren't damaging your hearing. Fourth one, again, getting back to a really weird one, like I don't know why earbuds even have this, but they have a remote camera shutter option on here. So if you set up your phone somewhere and you want to take a photo, and it's not a Samsung, so you can't just like hold your hand up, you can use your earbuds case to do that. I mean, useful and cool, like it's nice to add features in there, but not something that I ever expected on a pair of earbuds. And the way you do it is simply with that little display there and the little slider below it, which kind of, okay, let me show you the design a little bit right here. We have that tiny little display on the bottom of the case. I've been mentioning it throughout this video, and below that, you can see a little indent. It looks like a button. It's just a capacitive touch slider. If you slide left and right, it'll toggle through all these different features the case and the earbuds have. And then if you double tap it, that's how you go into a setting. If you double tap it again, it'll go back to that little menu. And so you can go to remote camera, double tap, and it's just a shutter button. So now if I tap that once, it'll take a photo with my phone as long as the camera is open. Like, I don't know, crazy, interesting. Maybe a gimmick. Moving on to the next cool feature. This one I actually have seen on other earbuds out there, specifically the AirPods, and this is the earbuds finding feature. So with your phone, you can actually find the earbuds. Obviously, that's something we've seen for a while, but the case also has a fairly loud speaker. Like, check this out. So on the app, you have the earbuds and you have the case. If I just hit play sound on the case, I don't know if you can hear that, but that is really loud. That is actually, I would say, noticeably louder than the AirPods or really any other case for that matter. So losing these, probably not going to happen as long as you're able to hear it. Unfortunately, they don't have ultra wideband finding though, or really any other finding features, just the sound. Like you can play the sound and that's it. And then the last kind of cool and weird feature they have on here is adaptive sound leakage compensation. So if you're worried about sound leakage, you can have a setting that you just toggle on and it fixes that. So those are the wild features for these earbuds. There are a couple others as well, but now let's get into the design. Normally I start with the design, but these earbuds just have so many crazy features that I had to talk about those first. The design is somewhat familiar. Soundcore's been using this little sliding top for the case for a while. It's satisfying, it works, but the case is definitely fairly bulky. There are 3 different colors available. This is the blue one, or I should say the mirror one. They're all like a mirror finish, so there's black, white, and blue, and this was an absolute nightmare to film, so I apologize for this B-roll if it doesn't look as good as usual. It's just so glossy on the outside. Personally, I think that's a bit of a drawback. A bulky, glossy case, not really my favorite. The earbuds also do look a little bit cheap, also very, very glossy, definitely not subtle earbuds. So you can comment on the aesthetics. Let me know what you think. I think, like I said, they're a little bit too shiny, but I don't know. They're not like a terrible shape, and they are fairly comfortable. They stay in my ears reasonably well unless I am working out or sweating or moving around a lot. And then much like the AirPods Pro and most other earbuds with this geometry, the left one tends to fall out. So that's me. Everybody has weird ears. Mine, my left ear in particular, seems to be the problem for fitting and comfort. That's why I really like wingtips on earbuds, and I would like to see something like that on these. As far as the charging method goes, these do have wireless and wired charging, USB Type-C on the back. Of course, we have a nice little quick charging feature on here as well, so a couple minutes gives you a couple hours of listening. And the earbuds sit in like a really nice large well in here, magnetically snapping in, very easy to place. And because it's such a large well, I actually really do appreciate that. It makes it easier to clean out, keep it hygienic. People should be cleaning their earbuds case out more than they do. And I think that's really nice. This little display here can trick you. Like, I keep touching it, I keep thinking it's a touchscreen. It looks like it would be, but there's actually, like I said, a little touch bar below there. Other than that, the controls on the earbuds are really nice. You can either pinch or you can slide. So you can slide up and down for volume controls. That's not customizable, but all of the pinch features are customizable for single, double, triple, or pinch and hold. These earbuds also have a couple other kind of standard features. This seems to be the year of like speak to chat, or just like essentially everyone has their own name. They call it Easy Chat here, where when you talk, it turns your music way down, turns on transparency mode. You can hear your surroundings, hold a conversation, and then when you're done, it just goes back to playing music. This one is particularly sensitive. Every little cough or sniffle, it turns your music down. So I disabled that. But there is at least a nice setting in there where you can choose how long it's going to take until it plays again, 5, 10 seconds, whatever. So if you use that feature a lot, it is a little bit customizable. Fortunately, these do have multi-point, and I would go a step further and say it's actually better multi-point than most other earbuds out there. So by that, I mean you can connect to multiple devices at the same time, easily switch between your laptop, watching a video, whatever, and then you get a phone call. It's already connected to your phone. It'll switch over easily. And in the app, you can actually choose which 2 devices it's connected to. And if you want to connect to a new device, you can go in the app and put it into pairing mode and connect to a new device like that. They do have auto pause as well. So when you take them out of your ears, that works. But when connected to my iPhone, they weren't auto playing. So putting them back in, I had to go and hit play, or at least pinch it. So with that being said, let's actually get into a microphone test now. All right, so this is a microphone test with the Soundcore Liberty 4 Pro microphones. I should be looking at 6 different microphones total here. And from my experience, they do a pretty decent job inside. Of course, this is a studio environment, pretty soundproof in here, pretty easy for any microphones. But we'll go outside in a louder, windier environment and see how they perform there. All right, so this is an outdoor microphone test with the Soundcore Liberty 4 Pro microphones. If I was on a call near a busy road, it would sound something like this. And also, in case you can't tell, it's definitely very breezy out here as well. So tough environment, but how do these perform? Now, as far as the active noise cancellation and transparency, this is very interesting. So the ANC on these is kind of mid-level. Like, it's really nowhere near the Bose, Sony, AirPods of the world that are blocking in my typical test where I just play, the sound of a jet, set distance away, turn up the volume, and see at what level the earbuds are no longer able to block it. AirPods and the best of Bose usually are about 61 or more decibels. These are blocking the low end of 50. So 51 decibels is approximately what I was seeing there, which is decent enough for blocking out like the sounds of an air conditioner and fridge and things like that. But of course, ANC is not one-dimensional. There's also, of course, how well do they block voices? How good do they sound when it is quiet? Are there a lot of artifacts? Fortunately, the other aspects of these are actually quite nice. There are very little artifacts, very little white noise when you're in a quieter environment. So the ANC engine on here, I'm actually quite impressed with, even though it is not particularly powerful. They also do a fairly decent job of blocking voices. Again, not the most powerful, but a pretty clean drop on everything. Transparency is kind of a similar thing where it's not particularly powerful, and in transparency, it's actually more of a drawback, I would say, than it is with the active noise cancellation, because transparency, you want it to sound like nothing is in your ears. You don't want to just kind of be able to make out your surroundings. And despite having like 10 different levels between transparency and ANC, even when you're on full-blown maximum transparency mode on these, they just really don't sound natural at all. It sounds very muffled, and sometimes I wondered if I even had transparency on because it just really didn't sound natural to me. So that's a little bit of a drawback with these. You can still get the job done, like you'll know when someone's talking to you, but it doesn't feel like nothing's in your ears. As far as the sound quality goes on these, if you like bass, these are going to be possibly a good pair of earbuds for you. Definitely a lot of bass, very consumer-centric, definitely sounds very muddy though. The cymbals are dull and lack clarity if we're kind of nitpicking on the sound quality here. Definitely more bloated sounding mids, like the bass drum and the bass line are definitely like very forward, very in your face, and sometimes that makes it harder to hear guitars or upper mids. So personally, not my favorite sound. I think that when you're talking about lower price points, the Nothing Ear A really set the bar very high this year for low cost, high quality audio. And so it's hard not to compare to those, which do sound, in my opinion, a lot better. But if you're working out or if you really like bass, these could definitely be a very viable option for you. And there are, of course, a lot of EQ options in the app, so you can choose exactly what you want. However, most of them are definitely more bassy. Again, that's just kind of par for the course, what we get around this price point, except for, like I said, Nothing Ear A offering a pretty good value for audio quality. So these earbuds have a lot of cool things going for them, a lot that I really like about them, and I love to see companies really pushing the envelope on what earbuds can actually do. Like, sure, I won't use the remote shutter very often at all, but it's cool that they're adding features like that in here. The airplane mode, I think, is a really cool idea as well, and having a little display on the case, surprisingly, is far more valuable than I expected. Not just to show you the battery level or tell you that it's in pairing mode, but also to change like the ANC levels on here, change the spatial audio, and different things like that. But not everything is perfect on these earbuds. As I mentioned, transparency is a little bit subpar. The aesthetics, in my opinion, aren't bad, but definitely a little bit more mirrored than I would personally like. The fit is good, but without a wingtip, there's no guarantee that they're going to fit in everybody's ears, although in the box there are 5 different sizes, I believe 5 sizes, so they should kind of fit most ears, but staying in, at least for me, is usually the struggle. But getting over some positives that I haven't mentioned yet, compatibility is awesome. These work very well on both iOS and on Android. You will be getting better audio codecs on Android, of course. iOS is limiting you to just SBC and AAC, which, still can sound quite good. I don't think that's going to be much of a limitation there. Also, these do have spatial audio. In fact, they have many different kinds of spatial audio. As you can see on the display on the case, or actually maybe I'll just show you in the app, there are 6 different kinds of spatial audio. So no matter what you're listening to, that could be something you want to tinker with. So yeah, that's my take on the Soundcore Liberty 4 Pro earbuds. A really cool pair of earbuds, very cost effective, and I love the features on here. However, it's a very competitive market these days. So are these going to be the best for you? Let me know in the comments down below.